Hello and welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time here. It's 7:30. I'm trying to go to bed earlier and earlier, so sun's still out while I'm recording today. I'm also not necessarily going to sleep right now, but I am gonna go to bed and wallow in my feelings because a lot of sad stuff came up for me today, and I'm just gonna listen to music to force myself to cry about it. Because I started crying about it in the gym when Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield was playing, and that was the song that was playing when I had been moving houses thinking life was gonna be so great and amazing and all my problems would be fixed. And then that turned into a really shitty situation full of child abuse and neglect for 8 years. So RIP to that. I'm also doing this thing where I'm reading my childhood journals because, lucky for me, I still have my journals from like 2013 and up. 2011 actually, but the 2011 and 2012 ones are a little sparse. But 2013 and up, and that's also making me sad because it's reminding me of shit that I forgot about myself or about life. And also just like seeing like how sad and stressed I was back then, and how I thought my life was over. Like I thought I was too old 13 years ago. Are you kidding me? Like, what are you talking about? And also, my mom's dead, so seeing notes in there about my feelings towards her and my gratitude for her and me trying to appreciate as much as possible that she was doing within her capacity, though she was dealing with a lot of challenges, so her capacity was limited. Reading that also made me sad. Yeah, so honestly, this all started with I have bite marks along my tongue because of tensing my jaw so much, because of being anxious about returning to work today, and just waiting until the moment my boss tells me that I'm doing something wrong or fucking something up. And at 1 p.m., the moment came, and I don't understand what he gets out of calling people stupid or idiots or not that smart, or telling people how much he's already said something or how frustrated he is by something and unhappy he is with something, and how everything is an emergency and it needs to be fixed immediately. I don't know who that helps. So yeah, I don't like how tense I am waiting to be yelled at. And this is the job I prayed for, so it's like it also introduces like weird complexities with my feelings with God, where it's like, and feelings with myself, where it's like, if this is the job I prayed for, then what's going on? And what's up with this guy, right? And to be fair, I did make an oath that the next time I get a job, I'm gonna stick it through no matter how shitty the conditions are, because I was inspired by people I know who stayed in jobs long term that were with very toxic bosses or coworkers, and then ultimately those bosses or coworkers moved on, evolved, whatever, got reported, etc. And now they have the money and stability to show for it, and I would like the money and stability. So this is me testing how committed I am to that, because Lord knows before I had a job I was anxious as fuck too, for different reasons. I did stand up for myself though. Obviously I used ChatGPT to help me write my answer, because the way I wanted to say it is not what I said, to explain like, hey, I'm new, working with new people. I would appreciate it if you would empathize with the learning curve that's involved with that. and you're saying that you want me to ask questions if I don't understand something, but if I'm met with criticism about your frustration instead of an answer, and if I'm met with you logging this as more time taken for training me, I don't want to ask you a question. And here you are telling me, why didn't you ask me this? And then it's like, if I talk to a client with misinformation, you're going to tell me it's wrong. But if I ask you to clarify information, to confirm, you're going to tell me you already said it. I literally don't understand how someone like that, like, whenever I meet someone like this, because Lord knows my previous boss was a piece of work just like this guy. First of all, what is your self-perception? Because I feel like they think that they're like so like generous and move with such benevolence, whatever, right? All I think about is the fact that they're married with kids. Do you talk to your wife this way? Or are you taking out what you are dealing with at home on people at work? And it's hard for me to imagine that I don't actually believe in compartmentalizing anything. I think people who talk like this, talk to themselves like this, talk to their peers like this, talk to friends like this, like this level of like condescension and lack of emotional regulation and contempt and demeaning language to this degree and this level of consistency, you can't just keep it contained to one person. This is just how you talk to people. You have a wife and children, and this is how you talk to people. Oh, okay. Or maybe this isn't how you talk to them, right? I can't assume. But at the end of the day, I also just wouldn't want a father or husband who treats anyone who's not in the family like this. Let's not even talk about the fact that he's Christian. Lost all respect for him in that category. At first, I was so excited about that, which is why this is contributing to my conflicting feelings with God. Speaking of like conflicting feelings, shout out to Kendrick Lamar. At first, I was conflicted because let's pretend you weren't Christian. This is still just shitty. On top of that, the fact that you're like a proclaimed Christian, go to church every Sunday, gotta pray, gotta whatever, gotta read my Bible. Have you read it? Do you know that it says that curses and blessings can't come out of the same mouth? Do you know that it says that love is the greatest commandment? Do you know that it says love is patient, love is kind? Keeps no record of wrongdoing? Do you know that the Bible is very clear on the fact that you can't, like Jesus himself said, like if you are kind to only people you like, I'm summarizing, but if you're only kind to people you like, you're no better than a sinner, a heathen, a Gentile, because anybody can do that. And my thing is also like, so it's like, let's pretend he is the best ever with his wife and kids. Jesus has no respect for that. None. Anyone can do that. Jesus said, pray for your enemies. I'm not even his enemy. I'm his employee. Working for pay that he has acknowledged that is not enough. That's on top of all of this. To be losing your mind when I'm already overworking for pay that's not enough. Even if you were paying me millions. As a Christian, also just as a leader, as a person. This is how you talk to people? Every day? Anyway, I messaged his assistant and asked what the hell is up with this. And he's like, oh, he's like that. There's times I used to think I was for sure getting fired. But you just have to learn how to take whatever the feedback is and leave all the criticism out. And this person's been working with him for years. So at least it's not me. And then his assistant also said that he's talked to him about this multiple times, but he thinks that the guy doesn't even remember this feedback about having patience with people who are new. I don't even give a about whether it's about me being new or not. This is not how you talk to people. And the thing that's so crazy is if you're gonna be this type of person, like I said, if you talk to people like this, you probably talk to yourself like this. If you're gonna be this kind of person, you better not make a mistake. You better not make a mistake. And you know damn well he does. You know damn well he has errors everywhere, misunderstandings everywhere. But Lord forbid, someone else has a misunderstanding. Now they're an idiot. Now they're not that smart. Now they're not listening. Now they're not taking action. Now he's frustrated. And it's so crazy because he literally apologized on Friday for being stressed about stuff. Comes around Monday, 1 p.m. Ready to blow his gasket. Over what? And on top of that, the fact that he threatens to take away part of my pay depending on what happens with certain situations is like, first of all, do it. You're not about to, what? You're not about to have me on edge trying to earn my pay, my fucking minimum wage. Part 1. Ugh. Part 2. You already acknowledged you're not paying me enough, and your idea of your response to that is let's take away more of your pay. The crazy part is when I interviewed, I asked for red flags. He said I get frustrated with VAs. This is worse than frustrated. This is verbal, I'm gonna say it, abuse. You're being a prick. Part 1. Part 2. I asked what constitutes an emergency so I can understand the culture of texting and hours and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, emergencies are very rare. It's like something like not having calendar availability for clients for the whole week. I asked him last Friday because he's panicking about how I'm not responding with urgency to all these emergencies. I'm like, what is an emergency? What is an emergency? And he's like, anything to do with money. You mean the whole business? Anything that could be a risk to anything with money. Oh my God. Like, it's one thing to say refund request or emergency, which also, again, they're not. They're a refund request. They're urgent. They can be addressed urgently without making an emergency. There's a difference between a panic attack and a heart attack in the emergency room. So yeah, he misrepresented himself. I don't know if he lacked self-awareness or just didn't want to be forthcoming with that. All of which are addressed in the Bible. Get the plank out of your own eye. And 10 Commandments, be honest. So that's what's up. Anyway, yeah, being verbally berated by my boss today triggered a lot of stress and upsetness. And then that continued as I went to the gym and listened to songs that triggered other things. Well, they're actually all related because the songs triggered the feeling of situations I've been in where I was hopeful and excited, only to end up not with something that was just less than what I hoped, but quite literally the complete opposite of what was represented. Literally abusive boyfriends, abusive family members, abusive bosses who first present themselves as wanting to help and so excited and eager to build a positive relationship. And that destroys your self-trust. It also destroys my interest in being excited about anything. And that brings me back to my complexity with God. Because I prayed for a job and disappeared. So what the fuck is this?